Hi, I'm Matthew Gatland, and this isn't Caves. This is a game that I made with Sergio Konaga and later with music by Chime Ratio for the Global Game Jam last weekend, and I've kind of been working on it over the week since then as well. So I haven't done anything on Caves, so I'm going to show you this because it's all I've got. So this game is inspired by Moraff's Dungeons of the Unforgiven, which came out in 1993. And both these games are dungeon crawlers where you walk around a dungeon and fight creatures, go up levels by getting experience and returning to the top to level up. And you can go deeper and deeper down into the dungeon to find more and more powerful enemies. And so that's the general idea. The original game, Moraff's Dungeons of the Unforgiven, was really weird. And I think it's just from a time when games were a bit more strange. They were still often made by one person or maybe a small team. And I think they had, I guess more diversity in just how they worked. Simple things. And I think we were trying to make a weird game as well, but when I look at this game and compare it to the original, our game is not really anywhere near as weird as the old one. So for example, a really obvious example is all this text here. We've got white text on a black background, and I actually set those colors without thinking about it. But when you look back at the original game, it never has white text on a black background. You know, the text up here might be on a blue background, the text down here might be on a green background that side, a brown background that side. So just little touches like that really give away the fact that even though our game is meant to look retro, it is a modern game, and it's hard to escape those modern design sensibilities. So I'm still level 1, they shouldn't be this deep, but I wanted to show you the tile set and let you hear the music. Sergio did all of the art, and like I said before, Chime Ratio did all of the music. So I'm probably going to die down here, but I'm going to try and find a ladder down, which is one of these dark spots on the map, to see if we can get far enough down to show you the next tile set and next set of music as well. I'm trying to avoid these enemies because they're really tough for someone who's still on level 1. I think this one might just kill me now. Oh, well, we'll see. So there's a ladder down if I can just get past this one shrimp, but I've only got a few health points. No, okay. So yeah, it's a dungeon crawling game. It's pretty simple. I reckon it's pretty cool. And I also think it's really worth going back and looking at old video games because these days even indie developers were influenced by the trends of our time, by the things that have come into fashion, but a lot of really interesting and weird ideas sort of emerged back in those days and then vanished. So I reckon, this Moraff's Dungeons of the Unforgiven came out in 1993, but very rapidly after that the game industry changed. Games started including voice acting or even full motion video, which required bigger teams and more organization. And I think a lot of the rules, the genre rules, started to solidify. So people decided if you're making a first-person shooter, it should always be controlled with these buttons and move in this way. And then later on, graphics technology solidified as well, and we came up with standard ways of doing artwork, standard ways of doing 3D, that now pretty much all games follow. So it's really cool to think back to old times and how games used to be done when people had to make things up and not follow conventions. And I'm not saying those games were better, but they're definitely interesting. So worth a look. Thanks for listening, and I will see you next week, hopefully with some work on the game I'm actually supposed to be working on.